Hey camera, how's it going? I am inside. I am inside in a room, in the room I do recording in. And I thought I would take a page out of Jason Monday, his book, where he showed you guys the stuff he used to create music and to create video. So I thought I would do the same, because if you can't steal ideas from other vloggers, then what can you do? I mean, come on. So basically what I do for music is I use Logic Pro 9. If we want to get technical, I think I'm at 9.1.3, which is, I think, the latest update. And I don't know, it's hard for me to not go into like complete detail and like show you my complete workflow, because the majority of you don't really care about all that amount of detail because you don't do this. But yeah, I use Logic Pro 9. I also use Pro Tools 9 when I have to, because it's kind of the industry standard, but I really am not a Pro Tools fan. I think it lacks in MIDI capability and is a little convoluted in that respect, but great for tracking and for mixing. What else? For my main kind of I/O audio interface, I use a Project Mix I/O, which has 8 channel strips with mic pre's on them, which the mic pre's aren't really that great, but it's good enough. And it's automated faders, so I can do complete automation, and the recall is great. And that's an interface, and that's what I plug all my mics and my instruments into, kind of indirectly. This is my mic pre, which is a Universal Audio LA610, which is a really good Class A piece of gear. It's a tube mic pre as well as a T4 optical compressor, which is the same compressor component that is in the famous Universal Audio LA2A, which might be going over a lot of your heads, but anybody who's into kind of recording and audio would know what the LA2A is and what a great unit it is. So this combines the two, so it gives me a really cool, really good mic pre, which is the 610, which is a great mic pre used in a lot of famous recordings, and combines it with the LA2A optical compressor. So you get really warm vocals from it, and I plug, because it has, I don't know what you can see here, it has mic options line as well as high Z being your 1/8 inch jack instruments like guitars and basses. Yeah, so that's kind of where all of my inputting goes into, guitars, bass, and vocals. Anything that I record with those goes through that. Anything else I program. I don't have live drums here, so all the drums you hear are my things and things that I work on. They're program drums, and I use my controller keyboard, which I love, and it is the Axiom Pro 61 with hypercontrol, which is amazing. Hypercontrol basically is when you plug this keyboard into your computer, Mac or PC, and you use any DAW program, digital audio workstation, like Pro Tools, Logic, Cubase, Nuendo. There's tons. There's a lot of smaller ones too. Reaper, FL Studio is very popular in the PC side. But what it does for a handful of those main DAWs is it will automatically map out all of these faders and these buttons and these knobs to the parameters of the song you're working in, all digitally. So this doubles as also what this does, which is a mixer. So I can control all of my track through here automatically without having to go in here and like set up and individually program or anything. Hypercontrol is what lets this automatically map it just by it interacting with the program, and it finds out what program you're using and locks them together right away without you having to do anything. So it's a really cool option. So that's my keyboard 61 key, semi-weighted. I'm not really a piano player, so I prefer the semi-weighted to the fully weighted, just because I don't have, I know trained piano players prefer the fully weighted because it's like a real piano, and just there's more resistance and it gives you more of an organic feel, whereas this, because I use it for drum programming and other synth programming, I need the bounce so that I can play quickly. If it's too weighted, then like you can't play as rapidly on the keys, I find, at least, being an untrained piano player. So what else am I using? My computer is nothing too crazy. I want to get a Mac Pro eventually, but for this point, using a iMac. I don't even know what the specs are on this. It's been a while. Let me check here. It is a 3.06 gigahertz Intel Core 2 with 8 gigs of RAM, and that's what I use. And then I have an extra screen, so it looks like this. Another really important thing to me is a lot of external hard drives. I have one here, another one under here. This one under here is my Pro Audio one. It has two 2TB bays in it, and one is all my sessions, so I'm never recording, which is a good rule of thumb. Never record directly to your computer hard drive, because then your computer hard drive is trying to read the program and also write to the disk at the same time, and it's just not a good thing to do. The same thing with video. You shouldn't do that either with video. So I connect through FireWire to my main big honkin' drive here, and I record to that rather than recording to an internal computer. It makes everything run smoother. It also acts as a backup in my sound libraries drive, which is like crazy huge in size, terabytes big, that has all my sound files and everything that I've collected over the years and purchased and put together that kind of encompasses the sound that I have is on there as well. So yeah, have a lot of drives if you can, if you're into audio or video, and back up all the time. What else? We got my monitors, which are Yamaha, what is it, HS80Ms, which kind of, they're not exactly the NS10s, the famous Yamaha NS10s. They're not exactly replacements, but they're as close as you're probably going to get. They're really good. I like them. They're really clear top end and a nice solid low end without needing a sub. And what else? I guess now I'm kind of running really long with this video, but what else do I have here? Guitars. I have a PRS single cut SE. I also use a Tanglewood acoustic, which is the model number. Let me see if I can see that. You probably can't see that. It's too dark in there, but it's a TW15CE/FC4. It's good. It's not great. None of the guitars or basses I have are like, you know, huge top of the line models, but they get the job done for tracking and whatnot. For bass, I have the Jazz bass, which I really like. I always want to get new guitars and basses, but then I realize, you know what? They're not broken. They're working for what I'm doing, so why waste more money? I also have another Tanglewood here, which I used to use a lot, and both of my acoustics are acoustic electrics, but this one, the electronics in it are kind of crappy, so I don't really like using that. Also, the neck's a little warped, so I don't really use that much. This is the one I mainly use, but the problem is that the internal electronics of it are shot because of the copper coil in here needs to be replaced, but that replacement is like, you know, it'd almost be easier to just buy a new guitar. So I'll probably get a new acoustic, probably a Taylor or a Martin eventually. But yeah, those are the guitars that I use. I also have a Yamaha Pacifica over in the corner here, but I don't really use that at all. I have a little ukulele that I never play, which is a Mahalo. As you can see, it's completely out of tune. I restrung it maybe 3 weeks ago for the first time, and just haven't played it, and I guess it just hasn't held the tuning. Bunch of cables, XLR, 1/4 inch, 1/8 inch FireWire, some extenders, some of these two stretchy band holder things to hold things together. Just a lot of cables, MIDI cables, an extra pop screen, and I got my little percussion shelf over here. Tambourine shaker varieties. And that's pretty much it. I have my headphone amp, which is really dusty, that sends out to 4 headphones for when I have sessions people want to hear what's going on, and I can't have it coming through the speakers because recording happens in the same room, so you need to isolate it. Yeah, I don't know, I got some books in here too, CD rack. I come in here, I converted a closet into a vocal booth, and used foam to pad the walls, and carpeted the floor, and the ceiling as well. And the mic I use is, there's a pop screen. The mic I use is nothing too crazy. It's fairly inexpensive, $200-300. Rode NT1A. Really love this mic. It's a really quiet mic, which is good. I have a little IKEA lamp up there, which I kind of like because it never gets hot, because it would get hot in here very easily. A little shelf for drinks, and some headphones. And this is where people can come in here and record, including me. So I get a really good tone in here, and I like it. It's a little snug, but it's cozy, and I get used to it. So this is also where I record acoustic guitar. I'll put this stool, there's a little stool down here if you can see it, and I'll put the stool here, and I'll sit here with the door open and use this other mic that I have here, which is an Audio-Technica AT2020, and I'll use that and record into this corner with the guitar sitting here. Do you like my shorts? I know you do. And I'll record acoustic guitar here, and that'll also help with the sound, so I don't get too much room. I like having room in recordings, but not too much, where, especially when the room isn't necessarily a good acoustic room, you know, high ceilings and really kind of warm sound. When it's kind of a room like this that has uneven ceiling and uneven wall dimensions, you're not really getting anything good, so I might as well try to get rid of it. So that, I think, is it. That's what I'm using for audio. Tomorrow I will talk about video, but it's very short because I kind of just got into video. So, yeah, I won't get into the software end of what I use, like plugins and stuff, because I can't show that on the screen because of copyright crap with YouTube, so I won't show that, but I use a lot of different stuff. Really like Waves plugins, really like Native Instruments stuff. I like Nomad Factory has great plugins. I'm really more into plugins than virtual instruments. I mean, there's a lot of great synths and stuff out there. Anything by Spectrasonics, Omnisphere, Trillion is great for basses. Stylus RMX is good for getting, you know, kind of drum loops and stuff going on like that. And yeah, so it's, maybe we can talk more about music, but I feel like maybe my audience on this channel isn't really overly into the technical end of music. So yeah, I think that's it. I'm going to let you guys go, and hopefully you've enjoyed the small circular tour of this tiny room where I make music, and hopefully you guys enjoyed. Okay, see you tomorrow.